June 15, 1944, 9:42 hours, over the Mariana Islands, 30,000 feet above the Pacific. The air is thin and cold. Engines roar in a steady thunder that shakes metal and bone. A formation of American bombers pushes forward through scattered clouds. Sunlight flashes off aluminum wings. Below, the ocean looks calm. It is not. Inside the lead aircraft, the nose is glass. Wind howls outside. Bombardier lies flat, eyes locked on a metal scope. His gloved hands are steady. Sweat beads on his forehead despite the cold. Japanese anti-aircraft guns open fire. Black bursts bloom in the sky. The bomber shudders. Shrapnel rattles across the fuselage like hail. A crewman shouts a warning. Another checks fuel. No one looks away from their task. The bombardier adjusts a dial. He whispers numbers. Speed, altitude, wind drift. The aircraft holds level. The pilot trusts the man in the nose with their lives. Below, a Japanese airfield sharpens into view. Runways, hangars, fuel dumps. Tiny shapes scramble for cover. A final correction. A breath held. Bombs away. The aircraft jumps as the load drops free. Seconds stretch. Everyone waits. Then, far below, fire and smoke punch upward with shocking accuracy. This moment is only a small piece of a much larger story. If you want more stories like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. The idea behind the Norden Bombsight began long before American bombers reached the Pacific. After the First World War, military planners believed future wars could be won by air power alone. They believed that precise bombing could cripple factories, ports, and airfields without the need for massive ground invasions. In the 1920s, the United States Army Air Corps searched for a way to make that belief real. Carl Norden, a Dutch-born engineer working in America, developed a complex optical and mechanical bombsight. His goal was simple, but bold. Allow a bomber crew to hit a small target from high altitude. The Norden Bombsight worked like a mechanical brain. It connected aircraft speed, altitude, wind speed, and angle of drift into one system. The bombardier looked through a stabilized telescope while turning hand cranks to input data. Once set, the bombsight could guide the aircraft onto the correct course. At the exact moment, it released the bombs automatically. American leaders treated the device as a top-secret weapon. Crews swore oaths. Bombardiers guarded their sights with pistols. If a bomber crashed, the bombsight was to be destroyed. By the late 1930s, the Norden Bombsight became the heart of American daylight bombing doctrine. Heavy bombers like the B-17 and later the B-29 were designed to fly high and straight. They carried large bomb loads and relied on precision rather than area bombing. When war broke out, American commanders believed the Norden Bombsight would give them a clean, decisive edge. It was a belief that would soon be tested under fire. Early combat revealed painful truths. Precision on a test range was not the same as precision in war. Weather interfered, smoke obscured targets, enemy fighters attacked, anti-aircraft fire forced evasive action. In Europe, early bombing missions suffered heavy losses. Crews struggled to maintain formation. Bombardiers complained about vibration and freezing temperatures. Some missions missed targets by thousands of feet. One after-action report noted, bombs scattered across open fields, target obscured by cloud. Another pilot wrote, "We held straight as long as we could. Flak was intense." Training also fell short. Many bombardiers logged fewer than 100 hours on the site before combat. Wind calculations were often wrong. Small errors at high altitude caused large misses on the ground. Enemy forces mocked American claims. German and Japanese intelligence heard rumors that the bombsight could drop a bomb into a barrel. Early results did not support that idea. Japanese pilots in China and the Pacific noticed that many bombs fell wide. One diary entry described American bombing as loud but careless. Anti-aircraft crews believed high-altitude bombers were wasteful and predictable. Even within American ranks, doubt spread. Some officers questioned whether daylight precision bombing was worth the cost. Loss rates climbed. Aircraft returned riddled with holes. Crews grew tired and wary. But the Norden Bombsight was not the failure some believed. It was a tool that demanded discipline, coordination, and the right conditions. Slowly, painfully, crews began to learn. Experience changed everything. As the war progressed, American bombardiers refined their methods. Training hours increased. Crews practiced formation flying until it became instinct. Whether teams improved forecasts, lead bombardiers grew skilled at reading subtle cues through the scope. The key was stability. The bombsight worked best when the aircraft flew straight and leveled for the final run. Pilots learned to trust the bombardier completely during those moments. Escorts helped drive off enemy fighters, reducing the need for violent maneuvers. In the Pacific, long-range missions over open water provided clearer skies. The B-29 flew higher than most Japanese fighters could reach. At altitudes above 30,000 feet, the Norden Bombsight had time to work. Bombardiers learned to adjust for jet stream winds, which could exceed 100 miles per hour. New tables and experience reduced error. When conditions were right, accuracy improved dramatically. Tests showed that skilled crews could place half their bombs within 300 feet of the aim point. Against large industrial targets, this was devastating. The bombsight also reduced wasted effort. Fewer sorties were needed to achieve results. Fuel, aircraft, and lives were saved. What once seemed fragile and overhyped began to prove its worth. The Norden Bombsight was not magic. It was precision earned through hard lessons and steady nerves. The true test came in combat, where theory met fear. On November 24, 1944, over Tokyo, the stakes were clear. 111 B-29 bombers crossed the Japanese coast at high altitude. Their target was an aircraft engine factory critical to Japan's war effort. Japanese fighters climbed to intercept. Anti-aircraft fire filled the sky. Clouds drifted across the city, threatening visibility. In the lead bomber, the bombardier fought the cold and shaking airframe. He waited for a gap in the clouds. Seconds mattered. The pilot held course despite flak bursts. "Steady," the bombardier said. Bombs fell through the opening. Moments later, the factory complex erupted in fire. Reconnaissance photos later showed heavy damage to assembly halls and power stations. Japanese production slowed. In March 1945, another mission unfolded over the naval base at Kure. This time, 60 bombers aimed at dockyards and warships. Weather was clear, but defenses were dense. Japanese gunners tracked the formation. Flak bursts walked closer. One bomber took a direct hit and fell away, burning. The lead bombardier adjusted for crosswinds. He ignored the flashes around him. The bombsight hummed softly. Bombs away. Explosions tore through dry docks and warehouses. A cruiser was damaged at its moorings. Fuel stores burned for hours. Survivors later recalled the strikes as unnaturally exact. Earlier in June 1944, during the Battle of the Philippine Sea, American bombers used the Norden Bombsight against Japanese airfields on Saipan and Tinian. These strikes aimed to destroy aircraft before they could take off. Japanese pilots waited in revetments as bombs fell along runways with frightening precision. Craters overlapped. Hangars collapsed. Planes burned without ever leaving the ground. One Japanese officer later wrote, "We expected area bombing. Instead, they cut the heart out of the base." Even when weather forced a shift to radar bombing later in the war, the reputation of the Norden Bombsight lingered. Crews who had used it well trusted its logic and discipline. These encounters showed what precision could do when matched with training and opportunity. They also showed the human cost on both sides. Behind every accurate strike were hours of tension and fear. Crews knew that holding steady invited death, yet they did it anyway. The impact reached far beyond individual missions. American industry produced more than 50,000 bombsights during the war. Factories trained thousands of bombardiers. Doctrine emphasized lead aircraft and synchronized releases. United States could sustain long campaigns. Bombers flew hundreds of sorties per month. Fuel flowed. Replacement crews arrived. Losses, while heavy, could be absorbed. Japan struggled to respond. Limited radar coverage and fewer high-altitude interceptors reduced effectiveness. Anti-aircraft guns lacked proximity fuses early on. Pair crews worked around the clock but fell behind. Precision bombing forced Japan to disperse industry and hide production. This reduced efficiency. Transport networks strained under constant pressure. While later, firebombing caused greater destruction, the earlier precision attacks weakened key nodes. Aircraft production dropped. Fuel shortages worsened. Commanders faced shrinking options. The Norden Bombsight did not win the war alone, but it shaped how the war was fought and how resources were spent. It turned altitude into an advantage and accuracy into a weapon. The psychological effect was just as real. Japanese airmen spoke of the fear of high-altitude bombers that seemed untouchable. Crews nicknamed the bombs falling straight down. One ground crewman wrote, "When the silver planes came, we knew exactly where the bombs would land." There was no running. Pilots reported frustration. They climbed until engines faltered, only to watch bombs fall beyond reach. Anti-aircraft gunners felt exposed. Misses were few and obvious. Even civilians noticed the difference. Bombs struck specific sites rather than random blocks. It's created a sense of being watched and measured. Among American crews, confidence grew. Bombardiers took pride in their skill. Some spoke of the bombsight as a partner. Others called it unforgiving. A single mistake could waste a mission. The pressure weighed heavily. Nightmares were common. Still, belief in precision remained strong. Fear and respect crossed enemy lines. The machine did not shout. It calculated. As the war moved toward its final year, changes came quickly. Jet stream winds forced adaptations. Radar bombing grew more common over Japan due to cloud cover. New versions of the bombsight improved reliability and ease of use. Some mechanical parts were simplified. Training focused on flexibility. The role of the bombsight shifted. Low-altitude firebombing relied less on optical precision, yet crews still used Norden systems for navigation and release timing. In the late war, B-29 crews combined methods. They used precision when possible and area bombing when necessary. The bombsight remained part of the aircraft, a trusted tool even when not central. By war's end, the mystique faded. Studies showed that accuracy in combat varied widely. Claims of near-perfect precision were overstated. But the core achievement remained. The Norden Bombsight proved that high-altitude bombing could be more than guesswork. It proved that training and discipline mattered as much as technology. Its influence shaped post-war air power and future targeting systems. In total, American bombers flew hundreds of thousands of sorties using the Norden Bombsight. They destroyed factories, airfields, ports, and infrastructure. Losses were heavy. Thousands of airmen never returned. Yet the device earned respect from enemies and allies alike. Japanese veteran later said, "We learned to fear the calm ones. Bombs did not wander." From early doubt to hard-won respect, the Norden Bombsight left a lasting mark on modern warfare.